Hello everybody, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast and welcome to another match reaction for Oxford United in Sky Bet League One. They played against Portsmouth this evening, a 7:45 kickoff at Fratton Park, a game that was meant to happen about 2 months ago, but a lot of COVID outbreaks at the point where it was meant to be played and the game didn't happen. It was rearranged to today and it has ended in disappointment for Oxford United. Portsmouth win the game 3-2. We're going to break the game down and sort of instant reaction. The game is just finished, but please leave your thoughts in the comments down below and subscribe and leave a like as well. I do lots of content surrounding League One. I did a Charlton Athletic video sort of discussing the crisis that's going on at Charlton. That episode is on the channel now. I do lots of other things as well, so check out those other pieces of content on the channel. Subscribe if you like the look of it. Leave a like in this as well. But we'll really sort of break the game down a little bit today as well to give my honest and instant reactions to this game. And first and foremost as well, we'll come on to the game in more detail in just a second, but I think Portsmouth deserves some credit. I think it's a massive game for Portsmouth. I think this was a huge game for them. I don't think they're out of the playoff race at all, really. I'll have a look at the league table that's in front of me now, and I don't think they're out of the playoff race. A lot of games in hand on teams around them. Bolton and Ipswich, they've got some really good games in hand on them. And one of their games in hand, of course, was tonight. And they got a really good result for them. So on face value, it's disappointing as an Oxford United fan that we've lost the game. But from Portsmouth and look at it from a League One perspective, which isn't easy when you're an Oxford United fan like I am, it's a good result for Portsmouth, and it's a really significant result. You saw Danny Cowley there on the touchline at full time. You know how much it means to him when he wins. A very passionate manager, and you saw definitely what it means to Portsmouth because it's a massive result. And although it doesn't, skyrocket them up the League One table, they're not sat in the playoffs yet. It's a really significant win against a side like Oxford, who come to Fratton Park on a Tuesday night, but are fourth in the league. And again, I think that's really significant for them that they can get that result, and they did that. And it, for Portsmouth, it was a difficult result in the end. They started the game quite badly. 2 minutes into the game, they get pinned back. It's a perfect start for Oxford. Marcus Browne, his first game back on his return to Oxford United in terms of starting and getting that starting lineup spot. We went back to the 3 at the back, but a 3-4-1-2, if you like, with Marcus Browne and Matty Taylor, the two strikers in the game. And Marcus Browne is a little bit different to Matty Taylor in that striker. So although it is two centre forwards, very different strikers there as well. You've got Matty Taylor sort of being that poacher, being that, I guess, the real finisher. We know that Matty Taylor is the poaching striker in League One. And then you've got Marcus Browne a little bit behind him. He's sort of more of a dribbling centre forward, willing to press. He's got the work rate. He's got that sort of inner ability on him to get hold of the ball and drive at players. And we saw that today. He started the game really well. It was a good combination. Gavin White dropped to the bench and Nathan Holland played behind the two strikers, and the first goal really did come from a good piece of, I guess, connection between the three of them. It started off with Matty Taylor flicking it off to Nathan Holland, a perfectly timed pass to his ex-West Ham teammate in Marcus Browne, a really good piece of dribbling, and he hits it with power and force after 2 minutes and gives Oxford United the lead. And it's a really good start for Oxford United, a really good start. You did, maybe at the time, I think I was there watching it going, have we maybe scored a little bit too early in this game? There's a lot of excitement, as you can imagine. It was a brilliant goal, a great move for Oxford, not just a great finish from Browne, but also a really good move for Oxford. But at the same time, it's really on in the game. You don't really have that time to maybe really take it in and celebrate exactly what a good goal it is. You might have done it if you come away and win the game. We can still sort of do it now. But at that point in the game, it's really early. And as we can see, and now we have now seen, looking at the results, a lot of things can change. And the game can clearly flip on its head, as we did see now sitting here at full time. I mean, the first half after that went a little bit quiet. I mean, nothing really massively happened until Portsmouth got their equalising goal. But between that, there were moments of Oxford United and then mainly moments of Portsmouth. But I would say it probably was more Portsmouth after Oxford scores. It went a little bit quiet, I thought. I thought we maybe could have turned on the heat and maybe put a bit more pressure on Portsmouth 1-0 down. You'd like to think that's the confidence and the momentum we needed to go on and maybe get something from the game. And we didn't quite do that. There was something holding us back at a point, I think, in that first half. And then there was a bit of a move just before half-time, before they got their winning, well, not the winning goal, but the goal that was going at half-time, leading the game. Before they got that, there was a really quite inevitable move for Portsmouth where they get in hold of the ball. They were sort of switching the play from outside the penalty area. And they were going to cause Oxford United problems. You were sort of screaming as a fan, get out of the penalty area, push that line up, play that higher line, squeeze them out of those positions, because you want to get Portsmouth as far away from the penalty box as you possibly can. And if you can squeeze up and play that higher line, you can stop them, Portsmouth, bringing the ball into the penalty area. It's either going to go out or you're going to be playing them offside. And that is what you really want to try and do. The further and the deeper you're playing your line, because it can be easy to drop back and play that much deeper line, especially when you're under pressure. You want to keep that line as high as you can to play those players offside and stop them from being able to put that ball in the penalty area and make it as a difficult ball as it was. Unfortunately for Oxford, that inevitable move where we didn't really do anything with it when we'd taken the lead, it did come. The really, really good move for Portsmouth goes out to the left side. So right side of the pitch, Oxford United left side, Steve Seddon, who came back into the side today. We'll come on Steve Seddon in a little bit more detail in a minute. I thought he struggled again today. And it comes out there, the ball in the penalty area. Maybe, I think Seddon could have maybe done a little bit more to stop that cross. The ball comes into the penalty area. It's a really, really good goal from Raggett, a really good headed goal. Sam Long was the player trying to defend Raggett, of course, the captain for Portsmouth. He, beat Long to the header and a really, really good header. Could we done better at stopping the cross? I think we could have done. Could we maybe got a bit closer to Raggett being Sam Long? I don't know. Raggett's a big lad. He's probably a little bit taller than Sam Long, and him being as that sort of centre back in that back three. He was marking Raggett in the penalty area, and it was a really, really good headed goal in the end. At 1-1, that's not a good time to score from an Oxford United perspective. It's really not time to concede. A really good time to score from a Portsmouth point of view. Unfortunately, though, it gets worse for Oxford United before half-time. Luke Hirst has been in really good form this season for Portsmouth, a really good, powerful striker. Makes it 2-1, a good finish. Claims for offside. I thought at the moment it could have been offside. I haven't looked at it back since the replays we got on iFollow, which I was watching it on, weren't really giving me the great opportunity to look at whether or not it was offside. I don't know if it was. I'm not really going to comment on that further. First instinct, it did look like he was offside, but then I watched it again back, and again, the angle wasn't great. It did look like he timed his run. In the end, if it was onside, no absolute perfection. A really, really good pass through to Luke Hirst. And I would say as well, a really, really good finish. If it is onside, like I said, he's timed his run absolutely perfectly. I haven't seen it back, so I can't really comment on that any further. But a really, really good goal for Portsmouth, a great finish, and the perfect time to get your leading goal again before half-time. Oxford hoping to get into the game leading, and then you're going to come in, equalise, you go, this could be a good time to sort of come in at half-time. Then at 2-1, you go, okay, this really, really isn't looking good for Oxford. Now what are we going to do? Let's try and get into the game now and get into half-time, making it at least 1-1. At 2-1, it's really quite disappointing. And that half did end in a little bit of a reckless, almost shambles perspective for Oxford. It did look a little bit all over the shop at points. Really quite disappointing to get in there. Unfortunately, in the end, losing the game at half-time. And I think we knew, and by the way, that first half was really, really high in tempo, really, really high in terms of a lot of pressing, a lot of work rate from both players, really quite, not rash, but very, very, very much a high tempo being played from both sides. And you felt in the second half that tempo did have to decrease. Well, I think it did to a certain extent, but I'd also say as well, I thought both sides did again in the second half come out and do a fairly good job. Both sides and both teams had their moments in the game across the 45 minutes. I probably would say Oxford United probably did a little bit more in that second half, but you still felt something was holding them back. And then when they scored their goal, in the 58th minute, Hayden Carter, a really, really good finish from out to the penalty area. He was playing centre-back this evening. I thought he had a really, really good strike on him, that Hayden Carter. But he was on loan from Blackburn. I could be wrong, but I think that's the centre-back they signed in January. Really, really good finish from out to the penalty area. Could Oxford United be closing him down? I probably would say we should have been better maybe at closing him down in that area. And then Oxford United then have to really, really try and get something out of this game at 3-1 down. It's not easy. Away from home on a wet Tuesday night, the weather looked absolutely horrific. I'm sort of glad I was watching it on iFollow from my sofa and not in the away end, because it looked like a pretty rough evening in terms of weather. Hopefully those fans are going to come back, and hopefully they're going to come back. Although they were hoping they're going to come back with more than nothing and trying to get back with at least a point. Luke McNally got a goal back to make it 3-2, and then nothing. Oxford United were knocking on the door, but we couldn't get that other goal. So, in the end, we come away frustrated, we come away disappointed. Again, I look at the league table, we look at that recent form. We won 3 games on the bounce. We played on Saturday. We can't really use the Saturday-Tuesday excuse for tiredness. We did have to make a few changes, and Carl Robinson did make a few changes in his starting lineup. But, Portsmouth played on Saturday as well, so I don't really think we can use that as an excuse. Portsmouth made 5 changes. I think we made 3 changes. So, again, you can't use that as an excuse. What do I think went wrong for Oxford? I think the end of that first half was really quite decisive for Portsmouth. I think they went in at half time, leading the game. It was the confidence they needed. That team talk for Carl Robinson, would have definitely changed. You go in leading, it's going to be a really positive team talk. You go in 1-1. Again, not as positive, but certainly not as negative it is when you inevitably now go in losing the game 2-1. That was quite a decisive moment in the game, I felt. Really quite decisive. I thought the second half, like I said, Luke McNally got a goal back. We made a few changes in terms of Sam Border coming on. He got another assist today as well. I thought he did really well when he came on in terms of getting that assist. But you still felt that something was holding us back, and I remember the commentator's curse comes back. He said, "You feel that there's going to be one more chance with 10 minutes to go." I don't really think Oxford United did have one more chance with 10 minutes to go. To be honest, after we got that Luke McNally goal back, you felt there's something holding us back, and that's when we come away a little bit frustrated in the end because you felt that you were sort of waiting for another wave of Oxford United attacks. They were knocking at the door at the end, but nothing. You go, that's a goal that has to go in. That's a clear cut chance. Really, that's a big chance. And that's what's a little bit frustrating from an Oxford point of view. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. We're still in 4th place. We're still in a playoff position in League One, and we're, of course, really happy with that. It's a significant win for Portsmouth, and it would have been a significant point for Oxford. Of course it would have done. I'm not trying to play it down, but it's a really good win for Portsmouth, a really significant win for Portsmouth at this point in the season for them. And like I said, we do come away frustrated. We on a really, really good run off the back of a really good win on Saturday. You come to Fratton Park, you know it's going to be difficult. Like I said, they're in good form. They're in a really good place in the league, really, when you think about it in terms of games in hand. Games in hand is one thing. You've got to win those games. And then, Ports have done that today. So they'll come away happy with that. And you can see there with the reaction of the fans, from the coaching staff, Pompey as well. You can see how much it means to them. So, again, it's frustrating. It's disappointing. You never like to lose. But I wouldn't say it's the end of the world. I wouldn't say it's panic stations at all. I thought some players maybe let themselves down a little bit in terms of their performance. I thought Steve Seddon, he needs a little bit longer away from the side in terms of starting, at least, really. I thought he struggled today. I thought he looks a player, honestly, that is lacking confidence. He really, really is. I think going forward, he hasn't really been as good in terms of putting balls in the penalty area, and he spends a lot of time forward. We can't really judge him on his defending because, like I said, he does play very, very, very high and can expose Oxford United. Less, I'd say, exposed in a back three because you've got someone like Kieran Brown, but behind him that sort of can clear up in those instances. But I still think he is lacking confidence in those areas. He probably could have done a little bit better in terms of closing down the cross for Raggett's equalising goal in the first half. And I think he will be a little bit disappointed by that. He did come off in the end. In terms of the formation we played with the front two and then Nathan Holland behind him, I don't think Nathan Holland had a bad game. He got the assist for the goal. But what I would say, I prefer Gavin White in that area. I think it's behind the striker, Nathan Holland, he can do it. Can he do it as well as other players can? Maybe we could have played James Henry. I don't know what his fitness is at the moment. I'd like to maybe see James Henry behind in that number 10 or even someone like Marcus Browne behind in that number 10 and maybe go with Sam Border from the start. But again, we had to rest players. We had to, there were players with fatigue. So there were things we could do there. I'm not saying Nathan Holland had a bad game. He got the assist for the Marcus Browne goal. But I would say there are players in that position I think that could have done a little bit better. I don't think that's a position that really screams Nathan Holland, if I'm being honest. Like I said, didn't have a bad game. But I think there could be players that maybe could come in and maybe do a little bit of a better job in that area. I also wouldn't say that anyone really had a standout game. I thought Marcus Browne would be Oxford United's best player. He took his goal really, really well and did look lively. But further than that, I wouldn't say anyone else had an absolutely mind-blowing standout game. I thought Cameron Brannigan had quite a quiet game for his standards. Same with Herbie Kane, really. Ryan Williams, I think he maybe got a little bit soaked up with the pressure of playing your ex team. I thought he felt I don't know with Ryan Williams. It wasn't his best game at all. Maybe didn't do anything bad, I wouldn't say, but wasn't as effective, I think, in that right wing-back position we've seen him play. Like I said, Steve said, and not the best game for him at all either. Thought Kieran Brown looked a little bit better on that left side of the centre-back. I thought he did really quite well in terms of defending. I wouldn't say the back three were really poor at all, to be honest. I thought Luke McNally had a good game. I thought Sam Long maybe could have done a little bit better, getting close to Raggett for his goal, but other than that, didn't really put a foot wrong. Maybe lucky not to get a sent off for a slight high foot in the second half, but other than that, nothing too sort of anything that sort of screams as a bad piece of play from Sam Long. And so, like I said, same from Kieran Brown. Jack Stevens probably wasn't at fault for any of the goals. Made a really good save from Luke Hirst again in that second half as well. Don't know how much he knew about it, but it really was a good save. And like I said, it wasn't a great game for Matty Taylor. Can you blame him too much? Didn't have a ton of service, to be honest. Like I said, there are positives, but we conceded 3 goals, which again is a bit of a negative. I'd say quite a significant negative. We speak about sort of lessening the goals we're conceding. We did concede 2 on Saturday, but we got a clean sheet against Crewe, and we're hoping to build on that. A clean sheet is important. When you win games like you do against Cambridge, they're not as important. You don't keep a clean sheet. The 3 points is the most important thing. But when you lose 3-2, you do look at those things. You go, what can we do, to stop those 3 goals? Because again, some of them are preventable. I'd probably say all the goals today are slightly preventable. I think that the second goal maybe a little bit less. It was a counter-attack, but the first goal, you maybe could do better at stopping the cross and maybe getting closer to Raggett, like I've already said. And then for the third goal, you could close him down. It's a great strike from Hayden Carter from outside the penalty area. But we have conceded quite a few goals from outside the penalty area. Could you close him down? He had absolutely acres of space. Maybe there is something there you could do. Like I said, the chances we created today, that they weren't phenomenal in the amount we did. We created one chance, a big chance apparently down to SofaScore. We had more possession, we had more shots, but you felt that there was something holding us back at points in the game. Something that wasn't outstanding. It wasn't outstanding Oxford United performance. And when I say Portsmouth deserved it, they probably did, to be honest. I think they probably would. I thought Portsmouth were really good. I thought they actually held up the game quite well at points as well. And like I said, it's a really significant win for them in terms of the entire season. Looking at it sort of in a long term until the end of this campaign. So fair play to Portsmouth. I come back to that. Fair play. And again, Oxford United and Portsmouth sort of seem to have this sort of strange rivalry where we shouldn't really have the rivalry. But fair play to Portsmouth. I thought they did really well this evening. And for Oxford, it's not the end of the world. It's really quite disappointing and frustrating. But like I said, it's not the end of the world. A little bit more the end of the world if you try to Fratton Park on a Tuesday night. That probably is a little bit frustrating, I can imagine. But ultimately, it's what you do and you follow your club. And like I said, we've had games against Crewe where we've travelled and we've got a win on Tuesday night. It wasn't to be for Oxford this afternoon. And we could have done things better. Of course we could have done. And it is disappointing. There were mistakes. There were things we would have changed if we had to play the fixture again. But you can't go back. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. Of course it is. But yeah, that's my reaction. That's my thoughts on the game sort of straight away. Let me know in the comments down below. Portsmouth fans, Oxford fans, League One fans, I want to hear from you in the comments down below. And also leave a like I said, and also subscribe as well. Hit the notification bell as well. We're nearly and so close to 900 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do hit that subscribe. I think 80% of the viewers that watch the content aren't subscribed. Please be part of the journey. Hit that subscribe button. It really would mean the world. Until next time, stay safe, take care. Oxford United go to Fratton Park on a Tuesday night, unfortunately, end in defeat, and it finishes 3-2. Take care, stay safe. I'll see you all really, really quite soon. See you in a bit.